Welcome back, guys, to the movie script. My name is John, and this is gonna be my full review of The House with a Clock on Its Walls. The movie is fun, it's a magical ride, and it has a lot of heart too, which I wasn't expecting that, but it definitely has a lot of heart. I didn't read the novel, so I guess if I read the novel, I would have been expecting that. But it's an adaptation of a novel, so you know, we would have known the story before if we read it, which I didn't. I should have. But the movie's good. Before I get into spoilers, for the people that haven't seen it, I'm gonna tell you like you should definitely go see it. It's a fun movie. It gave me like a reverse Harry Potter vibe, because in Harry Potter, like Harry and his parents are, you know, they know magic, but then he goes to live with his uncle and his aunt who don't like magic. But this is the opposite. Like, the kid Lewis doesn't know magic, and neither did his parents. So now he goes to live with his uncle that does know magic. So it's like a reverse Harry Potter scenario there. But yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, definitely go see it. Now, for those who have seen it, like I'm gonna break into full spoilers now. So the movie is directed by Eli Roth, which it's funny because he's best known for gory movies, and his latest movie was actually Death Wish, starring Bruce Willis, which did really bad, with the critics. It got 17% Rotten Tomatoes, so you know he's coming off a really, his last movie did really bad with the critics. But I want to say this movie is actually really good. To give you a general idea of the movie, the plot does lose its momentum after the midpoint of the movie, but the acting and the good CGI for me, it made up for it. It was Jack Black and Kate Blanchett were amazing, both on their own and together. Like the chemistry they had, like they spend the entire movie roasting each other. They have one of those relationships, right? They're not a couple, but I mean, you could tell that they eventually will be, but they're not a couple, and they actually deny it a couple times. And they spend the entire movie roasting each other. So the first act of the movie is about us getting to know the characters. Jack Black is Jonathan Barnevelt. Kate Blanchett is Florence Zimmerman. I'm actually reading the names here. I don't, I wouldn't remember from seeing it. Owen Vaccaro is Louis Barneville. He was actually really good. That's the young kid. So that's Jack Black's nephew or Jonathan's nephew. And Kyle MacLachlan is Isaac Iser, who is the villain of the movie. But he actually, he had a tragic story. But let me not get out of my what I'm saying. So the movie starts, with us getting to know the characters. The kid's parents just died, so he has to move with his uncle. It was, the Harry Potter thing I was saying, except his uncle is the magic one, not his parents. So he has to move with him after, after his parents' death. So that's when we get to know the characters, and we know from the beginning, that Jonathan knows magic, but he keeps it away from Lewis. Like he doesn't tell him right away. Now, Lewis is having trouble adapting to school. He's a shy kid, he loves this cartoon, which I actually can't remember the name of it. It's Captain something. I should have looked that up. But it's Captain something. But he loves that cartoon, and anyways. So he's having trouble at school. But he actually makes some friends because there's this kid who's running for president of the school, who is like being nice to him and all that. But there's a reason why, because he's running for president of the school. The second act is all about his magic training. He finds out about the magic and all of that. So Jonathan, his uncle, starts teaching him how to perform magic and all of that. So he's really into it, and so he's getting really into it. And in one of those moments, like he's having a dream where his mom comes to visit him, and his uncle Jonathan told him that he only had one rule, and it was not to open this cabinet that's locked. Never go in there. But his mom shows up in a dream, and you get the feeling that something's not right because at the end she's like, "All you need to do get the key first and then get the book," which is weird. Like that didn't make sense in that scene, so something's up. And then then he's trying to, when the kid becomes president, he no longer wants to be Lewis's friend. I think his name was Tarby. He didn't want to be his friend anymore. So in order to impress him, he's gonna show him some real magic. So he opens the cabinet and realizes that it's a necromancy book. It's actually the kid that opens it, Tarvey. It's a necromancy book. So they go to the cemetery and they bring back Isaac. Isaac Isard. I think that was his last name. Yeah, that's his last name. Who's actually the villain. And then we learn about his backstory because Jonathan didn't tell him until now. We learn about his backstory. He went to war. They were like best friends. Jonathan and Isaac were best friends, but Isaac went to war. And over there, he ran into, some kind of warlock. Well, they think it's a warlock, but later we find out it was actually a demon who gives him like amazing powers, but dark powers. So when he comes back from war, he tries to perform this spell that they don't really know what it is, and he ends up dying in the process. And they think his wife died too, but she's not actually dead. So Jonathan, apparently he left a clock hidden in the house, but they can't find it. That's where the title comes to, the house with the clock in its walls, but they can't never find it. So the third act is all about them dealing with Isaac because they find out that he's back from the dead. Then Lewis comes clean and tells them that he's the one who did it. So it's like I said, the plot gets a little weird, and I wasn't a big fan of how at the end everything is resolved because of the magic able that his parents left Lewis, because he has a magic able from the beginning of the movie, and that's what saves everyone and everything. But yeah, so overall the movie was good. It's not a bad movie. It was definitely entertaining. Little reverse Harry Potter in there, and like I said, Jack Black and Cate Blanchett were amazing together. So you guys should definitely go see it. If I had to give it a rating, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Definitely more on the good side. So let me know if you guys are gonna go see it this weekend, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.